Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and today's game review is something that I've been really hyping the shit out of because holy fuck. I mean, this game right here is gonna make people forget about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3. Hell, it might even stop Jeff Knightley to stop sucking off Kojima's dick for a change. So are you ready for it? My body's ready. So today's game review is gonna be on Hype the Time Quest on the Game Boy Color. Yay! Because, the hype is real, you get it. Okay, I need to shut the fuck up. But to be serious for a moment, Hype the Time Quest was originally on the PC and also did get a PS2 port that was only released in Europe, but this Game Boy Color version was only released in Europe and North America in the year 2001. But this version I'm taking a look at was developed by Planet Interactive and published by Ubisoft. Now, one thing I want to say that has to do about little old me is that I actually loved the shit out of the Playmobil stuff as a kid. In fact, I actually still have them, they're just packed away somewhere, but yeah, I have like a big castle set that was given to me by my old neighbor when we helped them move in, and he's like, yeah, you can have it, so that was pretty fucking awesome, and I put that thing to good use as a kid. Although I did find it odd that I never knew anyone else that had Playmobil as a kid. Everyone was just too much into Legos, which, hey, I don't blame them on that. Lego was cool too, it was just expensive as shit. Or maybe it was more of a European thing since Playmobil did originally start there. Well, anyways, time for the game itself. And it's a side-scrolling platformer, but strange thing is, it actually starts out in a top-down view, and it kind of makes you think that this is going to be like a Zelda clone, but it's actually not. So, as for the game's story, pretty much it's about Hype, who has to hype everyone out about the news. Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, anyways, he's a knight, and he happens to get sent back in time due to a black knight who uses black magic. And then you gotta get back to your time period and go kick his ass, and that's literally all you need to know. So now, onto the gameplay. So, you start off in the town, where like I said, it starts off in a top-down view. So there's a weapon shop where you get to buy arrows, and then there's a inn that allows you to save your game with a password. But your main objective is to find the wizard who is supposed to help you out, where he tells you to find 3 different objects. So when you touch an item within the hub world, it takes you to a side-scrolling stage, and you gotta get from one end of the screen to the next, and there you go, you found your item. So in every time era, there are 3 different stages, and then after you get all these 3 stages cleared and all the items are obtained, then you get to do a flying stage that kind of plays like a shoot 'em up. And then you do a boss stage, and then after that, you just gotta do another set of 3 levels, find more items, and then just rinse and repeat, and that's literally all you need to know about the main aspects of the gameplay. And of course, you get to kill enemies with your sword and your crossbow, and you can acquire magic spells later on in the game as you get farther. It's a really simple game, and it is definitely a lot different than its PC counterparts. Since that one seemed to play more like a 3D Zelda style game, where this one, well, like I said, it's just a pretty easygoing platformer. So now, let's get talking about the controls. So, the controls in this one, I think are alright. So the button layout is very easy to understand, which is no surprise for a Game Boy Color game. So the walking is really responsive, and same thing with the jumping, although it does have that, weird floaty feel to it as you're falling, but that's pretty common for handheld games at the time. Now as for attacking, so if you're going to be using the projectile stuff, like the magic and the arrows, those actually do feel really good, but unfortunately, I do find that swinging your sword in this game is a little bit delayed. Now, the delay on this is not terrible, but it is very noticeable, and it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. But other than that, I don't have much complaints about the controls for the side-scrolling parts. As for the shoot-'em-up parts, they're not bad. I mean, very easy, very simplistic. Although it is a very slow-paced shoot-'em-up, but then again, I never actually played a shoot-'em-up on a Game Boy Color, or hell, even on Game Boy for that matter. Because obviously, I don't expect, a super crazy shoot-'em-up like G Darius to be playing, just as fast on a Game Boy Color or anything. That's just fucking wacko to think. But for what it is, I think it's alright. So now, let's get moving on to the other things, like the graphics. So as for the in-game graphics, I think they do look pretty good. Everything is nice, bright, and colorful. And I also do like the enemy designs in the game. You can actually tell that they look like Playmobil characters. But of course you get your typical generic enemies like rats and bats and spiders and all that shit. So yeah, the in-game graphics are really not that bad for Game Boy Color standards, but if there is one thing in this game that does look fucking awful, is the cutscenes. So okay, I see what they're trying to do here, they're just trying to take an actual picture and pixelize it, and it just looks like fucking garbage. What I think they should have done was use the same kind of graphics that they used for the title screen, because look, this actually does look pretty damn good for Game Boy. They should have just redid that, but I guess time is money. But thankfully, there's not a whole lot of cutscenes in the game, so it's not like you're going to be seeing this travesty all the time. So other than that, I do find that the graphics in this one are pretty good. So now, as for the game's music, I find it to be not too bad, but it's also not very memorable. Now all the songs do fit with the appropriate themes of the game, which is good, and none of it was really bad, but nothing really stuck out. But if there is one thing I did thought was interesting, is that some of the sounds and the sound effects in the game did kind of remind me of another game that I've played on the Game Boy Color called Dracula Crazy Vampire. And oddly enough, that game was also made by the same company that made this one, so it kind of makes sense. So yeah, the music is alright, not great, but not bad. Now, if you want to go out and buy this game, weird thing is, I actually have not seen any North American copies. So all the copies I've seen are either from Germany or from France, and they usually range between $8, $10, there's even one selling for $20, but usually in between $8 and $10. So as of right now, this one's actually very cheap, but I take it this is one of those games that is really cheap, but you probably don't see it around very often, at least just from what I'm looking at here, there's only like a couple of copies. So now, as for my overall thoughts on this game, does Hype, the Time Quest, live up to the hype? And all that hype coming from 0.1%? Well anyways, personally, when I first started up this game, I was expecting this one to be total ass, but then after I started playing it, it was actually a decent game. Now, keep in mind, I don't think this is like amazing or even great, but it is a hell of a lot better than I was expecting, and the game was actually like kinda decent. Now, so far, the only thing I really said that was a complaint with the game was the attacking in it was kinda delayed. But I do have one other issue that I haven't gotten around to yet, and that issue being is that even though this game is for the most part pretty easy, it does have one annoying fucking thing, and that is that the game has no continues, so meaning that if you lose all your lives, you have to start all the way back at the beginning. This game is still a hell of a lot easier than The Lion King, where that game would make any kid, or hell, even an adult for that matter, like break their controller and throw their console out the window. So anyways, Hype the Time Quest on the Game Boy Color is just not bad. Not great, but not terrible, but it is at least better than I was expecting. Now, many years ago, I did play the original PC version, but unfortunately it was a demo disc, and also even more unfortunate is that my PC was not able to handle it at the time. That's how much my computer was a piece of shit. But from what I do remember playing of it though, it did seem like it would have been a really cool game, but unfortunately I haven't played it since then, but it might be one of those games I might have to fuck around with. Or try and see if the PS2 version is at least playable on an emulator, because that one was only released in Europe. So yeah, Playmobil as in the toys will always have a soft spot within me, but this one, well like I said, the game is nothing special, but is at least not a terrible game. So with that said, thanks for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.